Welcome back to another ep, guys. Alright, so Steve from Stavjet, and today's ep we are hitting the 2-litre Cortina. Have a look, guys. Look at that. Jesus, that is a big filter. I misjudged. Oh boy, this is a monster filter. Far out. Have a look at that. Have a look at that. That looks like factory, like I bought one. We're going to start the intercooler setup. I've scored a FG plastic standard G6 intercooler. My brother has actually donated it to the cause, to the budget build. So thanks, Chris. It works out well for, like, I guess the cooler piping size. I think standard FG is like 2 1/4 or whatnot. So anyways, we'll see on this app. Gonna take the grill off, take the radiator cowl off, take the radiator out. Actually, we'll take this out, so we've just got clearance and whatnot. And then yeah, we'll start looking at where the intercooler is going to go. We'll probably take off the inlet manifold and put the Sierra EFI, so the EFI manifold that I'm going to be using on this. And we'll just, yeah, have a look at like fitment wise and start mapping out what bends, silicone joiners, and what piping size and lengths and whatnot. And that way, yeah, during the week I can order all that up. But yeah, let's get stuck into it. Again, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, guys, if you're enjoying the Pinto build or this 2-litre EFI conversion. Yeah, hit me up. Shoot any questions, any queries, let me know. And yeah, let me know if you're enjoying the content. I'll try and stay as in-depth as possible, but I guess this is more just for fun for me, recording this sort of stuff, so I may miss some stuff. So if there's something that you want to see, leave a comment. Alright, let's get stuck into it, guys. Grill's off, and maybe I might not need to pull out the radiator just yet, but we're gonna have to, I guess, see if I can slot this in. But anyways, here's the cooler. This back, so let's do that now. Alright, we'll drop the coolant and we'll take the radiator out and we'll start seeing if this little bad boy's gonna fit. Let's get it. Alright, the radiator's out. However, it actually might work out in my favor if I pull, and the reason why I'm saying, now, I'm thinking about how this intercooler, the factory mounts, I want to utilize the factory mounts, right? I think they may actually be of advantage. Reason is, if we can have this mount over somewhere here, and then we'll hole saw through here, that will be awesome, because then we'll be able to mount straight into this plate, straight into that plate, and then now I'm gonna have to take this plate out because there's no way that I can fit this in like this. So I'll take this out. There's a bolt down there and two of these that go off the body, and let's see how it works. Alright, so I've tackled the intercooler, and can have a look there. So I've used the factory mounts or mounting points off the cooler, and I've mounted it up there, so I think it sits, well, it fit in nice and well. So now what we're doing, I've just sat the radiator. Radiator looks like it will fit like this. Again, leaving this all factory, and that's why it sort of noses out. But I think the radiator will fit like this. I did have an issue, and that was when I went to put the bonnet down. That there. So when we put it down, and then it was sitting that there. So I'll take that off, we'll cut it back, TIG it up, and we'll try again. So just fit the catch, or that locking mechanism, and we'll give it its first close. Let's see. And oh. Far out. When I show you guys this clearance, oh my god, it's a little bit too tight for my liking. I'm gonna just get the grinder and just grind like that little leg off. But if you see that, like, there is there's a bit of clearance, but I wouldn't mind just a little bit more. Just a little bit more. But now that's it. Intercooler is practically fitted. Oh, I'm gonna mount some tabs on the bottoms down there for the lower mounting points. So I'll mount them off to the side there. You can see there's some factory holes for the radiator. I'll use that, and I'll just make some new radiator because I'm going to mount the radiator different. But that fits up nice in there. I'm very happy with that. Free donations to the build. So this XR6 turbo intercooler cost me $0. That's what it's about, guys. It's about the budget build, and doing what you can with what you got, and making it happen. Alright guys, so this morning I also did order some intercooler silicone joiners and some piping. Now I was going to go 2 1/4. So obviously this turbo, I'm getting a elbow, so a 90-degree cast elbow that I'll weld to here. Then I was going to go 2 1/4, so reducer from 2 1/4 to 2 inch into here, 2 1/4 pipe, and then from here, the cold side, I was going to go 2.5 inch, but I thought, you know what, I'm gonna get a meter because I'm not going to need more than a meter of straight pipe, and the rest I'm going to do with silicone joiners. I thought, like, you know, I can get some mandrel bends and whatnot, but the silicone joiners is just going to save me time and TIG gas. I've got a straight I've got a 90-degree bend here. I've got a 90-degree bend here, another 90 here, and a 90 from the throttle body to the 2 1/4. So we're keeping all 2 1/4 piping, and then the Pinto or the Sierra EFI manifold that I'm going to be using, which we'll get to in a bit, because I'm going to install that because I want to fit it. I want to see how it looks. The throttle body on the EFI is like 71 mil, so the rest of the silicon joiners and whatnot is 57 mil. All right, so now we're going to take off the old inlet manifold, and we're going to rip the carb off. Picked this up quite a while ago. They're very hard to find in Australia, and a little bit expensive nowadays actually. They're highly sought after, and I've had it for a while when I intended on doing an EFI conversion for this quite some time ago, and it was actually meant for my other Cortina. All this is being set up so eventually it will transfer into my other Cortina, as my other Cortina is one of the Mark III English imports with a flat firewall. So what I'm doing and how I'm setting this all up is so it can then just drop into the brown Cortina, I call it. Yeah, so we're setting this up in this car. I'll drive it in this car, and then eventually when we do the barrel conversion, this is coming out, going into the other one, and yeah. So cool. We're getting places. I like it. It looks cool. Let's check if the bonnet closes. Should be the. I think it should. Far out. Imagine the bonnet doesn't close. Let's see. I think there's plenty of clearance there. I think. Oh, sweet! Oh, good. Plenty of clearance. So, I'm happy with that. Here we are. Now, trying to do as budget as possible. I got the 2 1/4 inch cooler piping for free, and then I've purchased just some mild steel mandrel bends. I've just notched out here for the cooler piping, and I've just put a bit of a angle on the cast elbow that we're going to weld up. So this is where I'm up to at the moment. My plan is I'm going to tack the elbow onto the front cover. Once it's tacked up, I will then pull the front cover off. We'll put it on my bench, and then we'll weld it all up. Beveled up the edges, cleaned it up a bit, acetoned it. So you can see here I've like rigged it up so that way it's nice pressed on there, and I can just hit it. You can probably put in the comments, am I supposed to leave a little bit of a gap? I'm going hard up now. Alright, so we'll do it at about 120. Alright, so if anyone wants to
suss the settings. I'm gonna have to play around with this. So this is the only cast elbow that I have. This is the only turbo front cover that I have. So I'm going to have to just like set it up on the spot as I'm going. I did have a look through the net for some like baseline settings. Again, everyone welds differently, different materials weld differently, so I guess I'm still gonna have to make some changes. Alright, so looks like that tacked on well. I'll give it another tack down here. So that's some tacks there. So I'll go over that. I'll just give that a quick brush, and we'll continue on. Yeah, I'll give it, because you can see the impurities there, the black. Now again, I'm only just learning TIG. I'm learning about all these things, so comment down below, tell me what I can do or what I can change, but we'll continue on, and I'll give that a quick wire brush. Alright, so just attacked the front cover. Alright, now you would have seen I set the welder up at 50 frequency. The bead was too wide and I grinded it back down, and then I ended up putting the frequency up to 90, and I ended up dropping the amps down to about 100. Once it warmed up, it was just dropping, like the weld was just dropping, and I couldn't build it back up. So I dropped the amps back down, and yeah, it ended up putting a nice, like, I guess thinner, skinnier, narrow bead. And yeah, I went a bit wonky, but I think it came up well. I did grind some welds back, and but finish, I think the finish is not bad. It's definitely all sealed up, so I'm happy with that. We'll put him on. And let's have a look. Banger! I am so happy with this, like crazy. Came up mad, very happy, and that side is, the hot side we're gonna say, is done. Very happy. It's coming up killer. Alright, so I picked up Alright, so I picked up a dirt cheap K&N air filter, 3-inch for the turbo, 30 bucks. This one retails for like, I think 80 bucks or 90 bucks at the stores and whatnot. So I picked this up for a steal. I just want to fit it on. I believe that I'm going to end up putting like a maybe like a 90-degree bend or 45-degree bend off the turbo front cover. It's actually legit brand new for 30 bucks. Absolutely cannot go wrong. Jesus, that is a big filter. I think maybe I misjudged. Oh boy, have a look. This is a monster filter. My radiator's gonna be sitting somewhere here. All right, so definitely gonna need to do what I was thinking, is put like maybe a 90-degree bend, and then we'll have it so it's somewhere like here. I reckon that'll be sweet. Damn, that's a big filter. I've got the internal wastegate actuator here, and because I've obviously clocked the turbo to suit this arrangement, I'm gonna need to cut the bracket and modify it. So that's what I'm gonna do now. I'm gonna grab the grinder and just cut like a straight line, and then we'll mount this to, for instance, like back on the turbo. We'll mount this back on the turbo, and so I'm gonna make like a straight cut down there, and then once I've done that, I'll mount the plate, and then we'll just tack this bracket on this side to that mating flange and finish weld it up and sort that out, and that'll be another job done. Let's get it. All right, so cleaned it up a bit, gave it a bit of a run on the belt sander and the grinder, and hey, came out good. Obviously this side looks not great, but all mounted up. Have a look at that. Have a look at that. That looks like factory, like I bought one. It's come up mad. I'm so happy with it. And there we go. So that's another bit done now. Alright guys, so we're back on the intercooler piping. I've got some aluminium tubing now, and I did say that I wanted to change the steel piping to aluminium eventually. It's just the steel was easier to weld up. But not only that, when we did test the battery, and I did have to move the battery to the boot as a result of this cooler piping, I figured, you know what, we're gonna just do it, fab it all with aluminium. So we did some sort of pie cut, whatever. It was my first type of we'll call it pie cuts. I just cut some angles and tube, and ended up working out well. But now we're getting a little bit advanced, a little bit high tech. Pretty exciting for me, learning how to I guess pie cut and do some bends and whatnot. So without further ado, let's have a bit of a look. This is my new tight bend radius 2 1/4 that I've made up. So we've got some quite a few pie carts, I think 7. And let me see if we can see how this is going to fit in. So we'll have a look here. If we can have a look at there. But, it's actually going to be 8 because I've already got the pipe in the silicone joiner. But have a look at that. That came out mad. Something like that. Out here. And then into this. So let's actually have a look. Oh, that's actually pretty cool like that. That actually looks so cool as is like that. So I might just go sick with some pie cuts, cut some more up, and then we've got the straight that we're gonna originally use when it was coming out over here. We'll start cleaning up the insides because all I did was clean up the outsides, and I should have cleaned up the insides, but it is what it is. I'm gonna have to pull it all apart. I've marked it all up, put some lines there so that I know where it's gonna be. Then we'll go ahead, tape it back up, and then tack them together. Hopefully how it looks and is taped up is how it actually eventually turns out. It's never the case, is it? But we'll give it a shot. You guys are gonna, well, hopefully you guys stick around with me on the journey. Let's see if it turns out as good as it looks and it's templated up. We'll go from there. So I've tacked everything and I've just put a 90-degree bend from the throttle body to the pie cut bends that I've made. Have a look, guys. Look at it. Guys, have a look at that. Like, for clearance, Mickey Mouse. I've had to take off a bracket off the radiator there, and that's turned out mint. So you can see there, we've got space there. So I'm gonna tack this final, because I haven't actually tacked this, I just marked it up. I'm gonna tack this, I've marked it up. Actually, it would be stupid for me to not show you guys my beautiful art. So that's it, it's all tacked. I've got a couple of holes that I need to fix up, but I'm so happy with that. Like, you can see the radius, it's round, it's not squared up, it's mad, it's killer. I'm stoked, I'm happy. Sorry, I just had to show you guys because I'm very happy with how this turned out. Alright guys, we are done. Have a look. All welded up, I think. We're gonna pressure test it, but I'm stoked. Came out not bad. Roast away, feel free to. So I welded this on, so I started off at about 65 amps, 110 hertz, and then I dropped it back to 45 amps and 100 hertz. So the difference was I got a more fatter bead with the 100 hertz, And the reason for dropping the amps was I was just making holes and I had to move so fast, so I just dropped the amps down, and yeah, it just took a little bit more time. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with it, and it is what it is. But so we've finished welding the cooler pipe, and now we're just gonna pressure test it. So I've just set up a little pressure testing with some PVC caps, a Schrader valve, and we'll see if this thing holds pressure. Alright, so that's one there. Take two. Alright, so round two, let's see how we go. PSI, holding it, holding it, holding it, done. Held 40 PSI, that's all we need. Alright, that's it, sorted. At least I know this cooler pipe holds 40 PSI. Alright, so that's what it looks like, guys. Let's have a bit of a look at the bay. There we go. The bay is like coming together now. That's mad. That's sick. To some people it's probably not sick, to you guys, because the welds are not, you know, professional, but for me, I think they're pretty sick, and like, yeah.